get a really good staff. I've done enough things in museums where they kind of go, oh, that'll just work, and you go, it's gonna break. It's gonna break. So, you know, think of replacing the whole guard staff with a technical crew. If you're gonna work with technology, it's gotta work. I mean, I love stuff that breaks, you know, and it will always break. I've never done a show where something didn't break, not once.
The first round of digital projects for the public, there were so many projects where it was either all about digital or it was all about content. And they really had not successfully been able to figure out how to bring the two together. So that's a lot of where this conference came from for us. We've talked a lot in our office about what things we can do that still stay within our mission of being focused on general public audiences. What can we do to help further the field?
How'd you like to dress in silk and satin? Baby, have a little dream on me.
This is a piece that I think that's very close to my heart, is that digital age storytelling uses technology to tell stories in ways that were impossible or impractical before. Like, you know, you would have to have an army of people with placards to be able to tell the same kinds of stories that we were trying to do here at ShopLife. We would need, you know, 20 audio recorders with people pressing play, and you know, like there's an impracticality to having access to that much media on a tour, right? And so, but digital provides these affordances, this interface to do something that was really would have been really hard before.
The other thing that was important for us to do was to provide a space for people to have conversation, and so that the digital was not just, this is a digital and you're going to learn from it, but then now step back and how can a group kind of piece together a story together. So instead of having it a kind of kiosk or something that you go to and you do your thing, this was almost a tool to prompt a conversation of sorts.
I think one of the things in terms of theaters and museums, both are huge display areas, and so a really good thing to do is change the scale, whether you can make it really tiny or really big. Just don't put it in another frame. It's just so, I just find it so deadly. You know, so if you're telling an epic story, you know, fill the whole room with the thing. And it's, technology is getting so flexible that you can do that just as easily as put it in a frame.
What I think this term, though, reflects as someone who studies language is that we're trying to kind of get at this awareness that this media in our current culture is having some sort of effect on something that we've done for a really long time, but we don't quite know what it is. So I think that the point is that digital is a meaningful context for storytelling, and by meaningful context, I mean it has effects on how the story's told and received. But what those effects are is still very much, it's pretty ambiguous.
I think that a gimmick can be okay if you can pick it up and use it and do something with it. If it's just to kind of go, wow, cool, then yeah, you know, I'm a little bit more suspicious. So I think usefulness is one of the things that I would say. I'm not saying gimmicks are bad. Gimmicks are, I'm into gimmicks. I'm a wirehead. I just like that kind of thing. I really do, and I think that can be really powerful in a situation, you know, when you're trying to show a story like that. So I'm not opposed to them, but that, and I think there's no general law. You know, you could just kind of go, does that advance the story I'm trying to tell?
What I'm going to talk about is kind of giving you the foundation, some tools to start thinking about this shared vocabulary, all the different ways you can think about stories and storytelling in museums.
The question really on the back and forth and the tug with the curators is how much is learning being produced here? What is the learning? What are people supposed to learn? How do you put in learning? And that, I think, is a big open challenge for all of us when we deal with these technologies. Again, you need to get to engagement.
This foray into digital would be part of the concepting phase for us institutionally. Not to design an exhibition and locate opportunities for digital engagement within a format that had already been set, but to make the dialogue between digital and other forms of storytelling, including traditional objects and images and documents, to make that dialogue be formative from the very beginning of our process.
And then the last one is know why this story must be told at your institution. Again, I think this ties back up to their first one. If you know what's good for your culture and your values, then like when anyone asks you, well, why are you doing this? Like you knowing that answer for you and how it ties to your own institution, I think is going to give you a really strong base for doing the iteration, for choosing how you build and choosing what you make.